the Mariners win the series against a very good Padres team, taking 2 of 3. Could argue it should have been 3 of 3, but a very successful homestand on the heels of a road trip that was not good. So I think it was crucial, obviously for the standings, because we are now under 30 games to play. Every game means the world. We've talked about that. But more importantly, I don't know that any player in there would admit it, but you never know about just confidence, just feeling relaxed, feeling not that they weren't feeling like they could win, but just going up there and not feeling the pressure of, man, we just laid an egg on the road and we're, further back than we thought we'd ever be, whatever was going through their mind, just to sort of, put some take some salt out of the wound, if you will, of that road trip, and coming back and doing what they did was huge.
Yeah, and we talked about the disparity in the National League, and this is one of those really good National League teams. And I mean, I don't remember, a lineup like this where it goes from Tatis to Laureano to Machado, O'Hearn, Bogarts. I mean, that was a very impressive series win there, and they took 5 out of 6 from them. I know that early on in the first half that they were a different team at that point, but they smoked them then. And you really, I mean, like you said, they should have probably won that game last night. And the offense coming through. I mean, obviously great pitching performance, and Brian Wu wasn't happy about it. You couldn't tell him that right now, but I mean, they out-hit him. So that was the refreshing part of it. And again, one of these good, and you're not going to face the National League in the playoffs unless you're in the World Series. So, but yeah, there is that disparity, and they took care of business against a really good offensive team.
Yeah, the unfortunate part about today, and it's not, look, I don't know how many people expected the streak to continue through the entire season, but the streak of 6 innings or more for Brian Wu came to an end today with 5 2/3. Got into a bit of trouble there in the 6th inning. I was saying I would have left him in. If they were squaring the ball up, if they were barreling that ball up, I would have felt differently. But you get a little cheap infield hit. I know he was up, I think, at 94 pitches, I believe, 94, 95 at that moment. So I get pitch count-wise, you're teetering. Dan made a choice. That's what you've got to do as a manager, and have conviction about it and come out. And not just because of the streak. You got to, how do we win this game? I'm not worried about 6 innings or more. I'm worried about getting the W. So that's his priority. Having said that, I would have let him face the next guy. He elected to bring in Spire, who immediately plunked the next guy. So
who was it? Because it was the left-handed pitcher.
Left-handed, yeah.
Was it Cronenworth?
Cronenworth, yeah. Hit him.
Well, and that was a tough decision, I think, for Dan. But and I think, more than anything, Wu was just pissed about, it wasn't about the streak. It was really more about, he wanted to stay in and, kind of atone for his mistakes and things like that. So, but yeah, Brian Wu, man, he's been really interesting to watch this year, especially. You can see that he is just so much more intense.
Way more.
Yeah. So I know you guys went out to get Josh Naylor, and Naylor, you got to hear this interview tomorrow. It's going to be, I'm telling you, this guy is one of one.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a very interesting dude. But so I was in there, and Wu comes in bouncing this baseball off the floor. And then, he gets up there and he sits down, and I'm like, ooh, whoever has to ask that first question, you better watch out. He looked like he wanted to take somebody's head off.
Yeah, there weren't many smiles, and you forget, you guys won. He pitched well. I mean, he goes 5 2/3. 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. I mean, he's sitting there with a sub-3 ERA on the season, 2.95. Wow. He's crushing it. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. The end. Right. But part of what we've seen, and you just talked about, is I think he's got a different expectation of himself, and it's grown with each start. That I'm the guy. I'm the guy out there that needs to set the tone. I'm the guy coming off that road trip that needs to set the tone. He talked about that. I think he feels a different sense of responsibility out there as the most consistent arm in that rotation all season. And I think he's starting to wear that a bit, and it's a good thing, but he is decidedly more intense and serious than not that he was a big jokester before, but there's an edge to him that I like, that I think you're seeing it manifests itself on the field in a really positive way.
Well, and to be very clear, it wasn't about that he got pulled. It was he was pissed at himself. And he even said in the presser there, he goes, Dan gave me more than enough leash there, and I didn't. So I mean, the kind of pissed off he is he's mad at himself. And to me, that's a professional athlete. I mean, you ask anybody, and it's like they're gonna think about like you said, Bob, in the one promo that we run, how many interceptions went off my frying pan hands. Those are the ones. Those
were your words, by the way. I was just repeating them back.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up, but it was hurtful. No.
You're still carrying it with you. My bad.
No. I mean, look, that's just being a professional, and so just to be clear, it wasn't like he was mad at Dan at all. Like I said, he said Dan gave him more than enough, so he's just mad at himself. But I mean, I love that kind of fire. And, really, you get that same thing from Kirby. You get that from Logan Gilbert. I mean, Miller, you don't really see that from that much,
He's kind of the same all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's an on or off switch with him. He just is. Right. That's just kind of who he is during the game, which suits him. I mean, we'll see his next start, what comes of that. Meanwhile, so Wu still he didn't get you the 6. He's given you every single start. 25 starts in a row of 6 innings or more. Yeah. That came to an end with 5 2/3, but still 2 runs, phenomenal. He's your guy. Gino is heating up, and that is huge for this lineup. That is such a big deal to have that guy being productive. You're still going to get swing and miss. That's just part of who he is, who he's always been. They're going to be. It's like Cal. Cal strikes. The strikeouts. It's a big number, but you get a lot of production like Cal with Gino typically. I mean, look at their numbers. These guys are producers. So having him heat up the way he is massive for this lineup.
Well, and then just all of the other type of things, and and I wrote this down in my notes. The nice guy point. Because we bring up, okay, he's a nice guy, but what does that mean? I mean, most of the time what it means is he's a really, really good teammate. And today, he went 2 for 4, had 3 RBIs, the home run. He only struck out once. And, the thing that Dan said about him, he said his superpower is that he is the same guy every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. So, he's just steady, and, and that's what we mean on our show, because I instantly thought of that. Like, that people get pissed off when we're like, oh, yeah, but he's a really good guy. Well, that has to do more with the fact that his teammates can rely upon him. And they know exactly what they're going to get every single day. And there's a real value to that. But like you said, him heating up, I love watching him hit. I like watching the throw across the diamond. I mean, that always is good. He's got a very good throwing arm. But I love watching his at-bats, man. And you just feel like he can – and, Angie was talking about today on the broadcast that, his stance, his batting stance is very unusual.
Well, he's got that open stance, and he just kind of rests the bat on his shoulders like he's just kind of posing up there, and then –
all of a sudden he just explodes.
Yeah, it's his timing mechanism.
And so, I think that was, and one of the things Angie said about it was that, he feels like if he stays square, like most guys do, that he over-rotates his upper half, and so that's the reason, that's the little mechanism for him, so that, he can square up the ball. And man, when he gets a hold of one, I mean, it just bounces off the bat.
Yeah, it was, and you needed it. I mean, for the most part, the lineup kind of got shut down today. I mean, he drove in 3 of the 4 runs. The other one was Luke Raley, and good to see that for him. Yeah. He goes 1 for 2 on the day with that RBI. But, you had Rosarena go 0 for 4. Cal went 0 for 3. Julio went 2 for 4. Naylor had a hit. Feels like he's got at least 1 hit in every game.
Yeah.
But just in terms of production, Crawford 0 for 4, Young 0 for 3. They had 7 total hits, and 4 of them came from Julio and Gino. So it wasn't a big offensive day in terms of the lineup 1 through 9 getting it done, but it was timely. It was big for the game, big to win the series, certainly. And then just seeing Gino continue to look like he's starting to heat up, and he's starting to find it again. It's coming at the right time because, you got 29 games to go now. It's just in hitting the road. The road has been problematic. We just thought that last road trip was nothing. There was nothing good about that. So hopefully we're looking at a different version of this team on the road, and they're going to carry maybe some of this momentum, into what they're going to be facing on the road. But you got to keep up. And you're sitting a game behind the Astros now in the division. You're a game and a half. You got that third wild card spot, but the Yankees and Red Sox are tied in the wild card. So you're a game and a half behind both those teams. You got a 3.5 game lead over the Royals right now, and all these teams are winning. The Yankees have won 4 in a row. The Red Sox have won 2 in a row. They've won 6 of 10. The Royals have won 6 of 10. So all these teams around you are hot, whereas the Mariners have dropped 6 of 10. So it's coming at the right time. And again, beating a team like the Padres, who came into this thing sitting atop the NL West, tied with the Dodgers, that was big. That was big. So hopefully there's some carryover. I know they get a day off tomorrow. Friday they start their series on the road, and hopefully they're going to bring some of the good vibes, the good feelings out there on the road with them, because they need it.
Yeah, and I think the Cleveland is a lot less pesky without Josh Naylor there, so
yeah,
that'll be nice. But yeah, it's a pretty tough road trip. I mean, you're going to Tampa for 3 as well, and then Atlanta. So yeah, this will be interesting to see. But I just thought, man, it was. They scored 9 runs, 6 runs, 4 runs today, and it just feels like. I feel like in the past we would have lost these games and there wouldn't have been any production, but you just are getting, Gino in particular, and we're all kind of wondering when's he going to heat up, and we're in the middle of it right now. So really refreshing to see that. And, I think they're leaving today, to get on the road and get there. And then, start this massive away stand here of 12 games? No, 9 games.
Yeah. Yeah, starts on Friday, day off tomorrow. Another guy we saw down there in the clubhouse was Emerson Hancock. He was called up, and all indications are he could be your long relief guy. We'll see what their plan is for him, but he had a couple turns down there in Tacoma where the velocity was way up. He was hitting 99 on the gun out there, which is big. So I don't know what their plan is. If they look at him as are we going to maybe step him into this, put him in some, not stick him in these high leverage situations right out of the gate, or maybe they will. Maybe they're going to put him in the deep end and say, all right, if one of the starters gets knocked around and you got to take him out early, it would seem like he would be the go-to guy. Vargas right now is your long relief guy, but having somebody like Hancock, who's obviously been stretched out, who's been a starter, that's big to have that guy should things go wrong for your starter. This is a guy who can eat up some innings, or maybe they've got him focused on a particular pocket of a lineup that he's got to face. I'm curious to see how they use him.
Yeah, that will be interesting. And remember, that was he was somebody that our guy Charlie Furbush kind of defended early on when he went out with that first start this year, and he's got some good stuff. So it's kind of interesting to me, just the different mindset for him and how they can use him to, in different spots rather than being a starter. And maybe, like Charlie always says, I mean, everybody starts off as a starting pitcher. You don't just start off as a bullpen pitcher, and wonder if maybe, that might be his superpower.
Yeah. The other thing we did while down in the clubhouse is we had a conversation with Josh Naylor. Finally able to catch up with him. You guys can hear that interview tomorrow. It was an interesting conversation. He's we're talking about Wu being intense and focused. That is a very just tunnel vision guy, and he's very direct in his answers. He doesn't smile a lot. He's very serious, and a couple times he made me laugh or you laugh, and he almost looked at us like, what are you laughing at? That was kind of the look on his face, like, I don't know why that's funny.
Well, both times that we've mentioned Josh, I see Lefko's face lighting up and laughing down there because he was very, very interesting guy. I don't want to say he's kind of peculiar a little bit, but
he's intense.
Well, he's very intense, and I think that's a really cool, I think, asset to bring to this. It seems like a pretty light clubhouse, right? That lots of joking around and everything. I mean, they're all about business, of course. I mean, like you said, Wu and Logan Gilbert and Kirby and certainly Cal. I mean, they're intense dudes, but this guy is like, he lives and breathes baseball. Doesn't necessarily want to watch it, but
you'll hear that.
It's all about playing and just being the absolute best that he can be. So I think he brings a really interesting element. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got Victor Robles, who is just kind of just. I love watching that guy play. I mean, he's just so energetic and. So, they've got a great mixture right now, and this is going to be a very interesting road trip to see if they can get it done.
Yeah, definitely. I would highly recommend tuning in tomorrow for that conversation with Josh Naylor. We'll play it tomorrow, and he's an interesting dude. I think Mariner fans are going to appreciate him, and I think they already do based on what they've seen on the field. But you don't get exposed to his personality very much, to this point. He's still new to a lot of people, so that was pretty cool. Meanwhile,